Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my very messy room. I have lots of things going on because it's been a very busy weekend and I still wanted to bring you this video, so it's a little later than usual, but welcome to my weekly deck reviews. So, as I mentioned last week, I have been working with, this week, a tarot deck and an oracle deck, like usual. I don't know why I'm being weird. But over the last week, I have been working with the deck of the Bastard. This has been a really fun deck for me to work with. This was a gift from my sister. It was an early birthday present. And she very generously got me the plastic cardstock and the keywords and custom backs. And I really enjoyed playing with this. I will say it's very slippery. And the colors are a little bit muted. And I struggled to find an oracle deck to use beside it, which I will talk about in a minute. But I did find one that I think works really, really well with this deck. I really enjoyed it. And you guys know I don't normally read with reversals. But I really enjoyed with this particular deck shuffling in the reversals because there's a lot of there's reversed keywords, and I just really found that a fun mechanic to play with. I don't have a lot of decks that have that mechanic on it. I think I have one or two others, or at least one. Yeah, I don't know that I've worked with them all, but this was just really fun. And since I was using this mostly myself, I just appreciated working with the energy of the shuffled in reversals. I love the distressed look of this deck, the kind of aged and worn look. Part of me kind of wants to edge it, but I have been warned against edging it because apparently the plastic, it'll just rub right off. But what I love is that I can just take this deck anywhere and not worry anything will happen with it. And I legitimately plan to bring this deck into the bathtub with me if I'm ever doing bath time tarot, because I love bath time reading, but I've never done bath time tarot because I don't want to drop my cards in the water. So I know that may sound really silly, but I'm actually really looking forward to doing that one day. So right now, and I think this is probably where this deck is going to live, I have this deck living in a travel bag that Peggy made me a long time ago. This was a prototype she was playing with. A couple of you have mentioned this. This is really not, had a hair on it. This is not a difficult design for her to put together for people. The only thing is the handle material. She would have to get more. But if anybody wants one of these, hit her up on Etsy or send her a Facebook message through her Facebook page. I'm sure she'd be happy to make more. The only thing I will tell you is it snugly fits, not super snugly, but it fits a standard sized tarot deck, one in each size. So if you have anything larger, this template doesn't fit larger decks. I'm sure she could probably figure it out, but her current template, the only one she's ever made for me, she's made me 2 of these, fit standard. Sorry, there was like a random rabbit hole. But the oracle deck that I decided to work with alongside this deck is the Illuminated Earth Oracle. Oh, my natural lighting is just really bringing out the... Why is it upside down? Because I'm holding it upside down. My natural light is bringing out the vibrancy of these cards, which is really cool. They actually look a lot deeper in person. They're actually looking a lot brighter because of the lighting in here right now. But what I loved about this deck is because of its darker tones, it didn't feel artificial feeling, or it just didn't feel disjointed next to the deck of the Bastard, which I really appreciated. This is a very earthy, obviously, Illuminated Earth. It's a very earthy oracle deck, but it has some really poignant messages and it's very balanced. This one and the Oracle of Echoes are among my top recommendations, well, and the Tao Oracle are among my top recommendations for balanced oracle decks. This is also a standard size, which I needed this week since I was going to be carrying around this little tarot clutch. But yeah, I just really enjoy working with this one. And a couple of times this week, I actually would pull a couple cards next to my tarot card of the day. And I just really enjoyed working with it. So this one is an old favorite. It's beautiful cardstock. It's like matte and smooth and thick, but it still shuffles well. I've edged my deck in a dark blue to match the bits of blue you see on the backs. And actually, it's kind of funny. It shows some use because you can see where my thumbs go when I rifle shuffle, because just that spot in the edging in this deck is showing just a little bit of wear. But this is a very well-loved deck. It has just a bit of a bow. It's a long-time favorite. And you can still get this. This is an independent oracle deck by Claire Mack. She is actually based in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah. It's beautiful. And I can't recommend it enough. So I really enjoyed working with that one. It usually lives in this Peggy bag. And she actually, I don't know if she still does this, but it comes in a beautiful box with gold accent, 2-part. And I don't know if she still does this, but when she shipped mine, she included a botanical. And I keep that botanical with my deck. And I don't want to pull it out because I don't want to, but it's like some little flower, a dried, looks like cedar, and a little feather, and it's just tied together in a little bundle. Look how delicate that is. So I usually keep that in the box with the book on top just to protect it. I just love having that earthy energy in there. And, oops, babbling. 'Tis what I do, you guys. But anyways, I don't really use the little guidebook. It's a little white book. It does have some keywords and some quick messages, but these cards, you guys, have really fantastic titles. Harmony, Separate, like they're so great. This is a wonderful intuitive deck. There's so much for you to get from the imagery combined with the title. It's just beautiful. It's easy. I have no problem working with it in just about any context. Fantastic. Still love it. I've probably reviewed it on this channel before, and I've probably had it in a weekly deck review before because it is a good one. So that is that deck. And then the reading cloth that I used with these, because they were so dark this week, I used this Klimt reading cloth. So this was to bring some brightness out, but then I found that when I used this particular cloth behind the cards, because of the tannish colored sides of the deck of the Bastard, it kind of blended a bit with the gold. So then I would flip it over and it looked much better on the black. So that's what I ended up using for most of my reads. But this is another cloth I've had for a long time, so I really enjoyed that with that. This week, you guys, oh my gosh, I'm enjoying them so much already. So it's kind of a bit of a spoiler, but I'll show you the reading cloth. Then using this one, which has this really cool whitewashed wood, and this is the one I'm using behind the decks mostly, but it also has this like stone other side. But I am working with the Art of Life? That's the deck that lives at work. The Revival Art Tarot by Taroko Studios. So this one you can get on Etsy. I have to admit, this is what the backings look like. I'm not excited about the backs, but they are definitely growing on me. I've never had the backing of a card that was this pictorial, I think, or that stands out this much, but it is really a sweet image. And it does definitely grab your attention, which I kind of enjoy. Can we talk for a second? I know you guys want to see the cards, but can we talk for a second about this cardstock, because it is so luscious. I don't even know how to describe it. It feels like smooth and matte, and it's thick. Like it doesn't, like you can see it's got some thickness, but when I say this deck rifles beautifully, it's beautifully flexible. I don't know. It's definitely probably my favorite cardstock. If this had rose petal finish, we'd be done. I'd probably never touch another deck again, but it's really beautiful. Anyways, onto the cards. The images in this deck are so gorgeous. It's all based on Revival art. The one sadness I have is that I don't know art, and this guidebook does not talk about where the art comes from, which is a bummer because I don't know these images, and I'm sure some of them are quite famous, and I don't know them. So that's a bit of a bummer, but in general, I'm really, really like working with this deck. Like it's just, I'll just show you a few more images. I'll talk about it more at the end of the week when I've really, really worked with it, but so far I'm really enjoying it, and it's really wonderful to shuffle. And I know that seems so superficial, but it is a part of the tarot experience for me, is the tactileness. But this looks beautiful on this wood backing. So I'm working with that, and I've got this, I picked a Peggy bag for it. So that, and then the Oracle deck, again, I really struggled because this deck also is quite dark. I'm like, well, I want something that's not gonna be too modern looking or too, I didn't want to work with like a Blue Angel deck beside it or anything like that. So I decided to work with my Messages from the Light meditation deck. I freaking love this deck. This was one of the first top-down walkthroughs I think I ever did, one of. So if I remember, I will link it up in the cards so you can see it, but this art just wowed me from jump, and it's no different. This is the backings. They're beautiful. It's US Games cardstock, so it's kind of stiff, really nice, sturdy cardstock, but they're meant to be meditation cards, so the book doesn't have I don't think, a lot in the way of, oh, it has like divinatory type messages in it, or meditation type messages, things to focus on. But it's really this artwork that grabbed me on these giant titles. But the fact that this has a bit of that tea-stained look around the edges means to me that it doesn't look too disjointed next to the Revival Art Tarot. So this is what I'm working with beside. This is always a joy for me to work with, so I know I'm going to love it. I've worked with it before, I've reviewed it before, but I love this so much. So I'm really thoroughly enjoying. I've done a couple draws with these this weekend, and I've really, really enjoyed them. So probably, spoiler alert, these are probably going to be really glowing reviews at the end of the week, but again, I always like to come back to you guys and tell you how they actually were over a period of time to work with. So that is what I'm working with this week. I feel like I powered through that really fast. Did I talk fast? You can let me know in the comments. I am a fast talker, so it's entirely possible / likely that I was talking fast and a lot. Also, it helps that I didn't really have any complaints about any of the decks, so there's that too. Alright y'all, that is it for me today for my weekly deck reviews. I will see you again next week where you can hear about these decks and then find out what I'm going to be working with after that. Until later, guys, I will talk to you later. Have a great weekend, day, afternoon, morning, evening, whenever you might be watching this, and I'll see you all again very soon.